Morning. Back to Cornwall today for this one, or this morning. So, love Cornwall. I'm not going there this year. I was going. We go most years, but it's a long drive from London for a few days. So we're going somewhere else for our trailer. Or trailer tent, should I say. So I'll wet the paper all over and I'll give it a bit of a wash with some warm raw sienna. And while that's wet, I've got the paper about 70 degrees. It's still a bit too steep really for watercolour painting, but as it grows, as it's doing now, I'll re-stretch it. So now we'll put in a bit of cloud on there. A bit darker. If the hake sheds its hairs, this one is. One of my hakes, I've got 4 of them now, goes into these clumps, and it's a bit of a nuisance trying to get it back together again. Let's just re-clip it. It's Fabriano, £130. A bit of a darker cloud in there. Yeah, see, it's clumping rather badly, this one. And just have a little bit of blue going down there where the water is, see? Right, okay, that's fine. Let's let that dry for a moment. My palette is lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, paint grey and burnt sienna. It's still growing a bit, so let's just get that. And I'll put my big cliff in. So a bit of lemon yellow, a bit of burnt sienna, yeah. Got a nice put some different colours in. We want fairly dark on these Cornish rocks because I'm going to use the card to scrape out a bit of green in there as well. Nice and strong here because that's where I'm going to do the lifting out. So a bit of red and then down to about there. All sorts of lovely colours in the Cornish cliffs around Watergate Bay. It's very, very, what they call friable, I think, very loose and crumbly. Let's just get some darker. I'm just mixing all the colours so that when I scrape it, we get different colours in the rocks. And then we'll have another one. And here, you need to work quickly on this because once it dries, the paint's fixed, but you can re-wet it. Right, that will be our base, and that'll come little rocks coming across here. green on the rocks. Right, keep it all nice and wet. And get a little card, and we can just put in some little impressions of rocks catching the light on the faces. These are all over the place. They tumble down as the cliffs have sort of slid with water erosion, mostly from rain, prolonged rain. Look, just safe painting. It's quite straightforward really, and I will put some scrubby vegetation in. Okay, that will. Let's just get that back in there. We'll put some shadow in there as well. Okay, now I want to put in a horizon. I want a dry, I think, or a bit of a dry. So hang on to your ears. Don't want it too dry, just so that I can put in some distant sort of this actually doesn't exist, it's just an impression of Cornwall from a memory. I'll put a bit of sienna in there. Right, well that's the distance there, and we'll put in a bit of shadow in the cliff here. I hope that'll all blend in there. Okay, I want to add a counter change the light edge of that rock there. Okay, so let's just put in a bit more in here. Right. Right, okay, so we're going downhill a little bit on that. So I'll just put in some bluish. This is my way of showing waves or catching the light. And a bit of umber now. Burnt umber. Good colour for beaches. sandy coloured. We've got have some water. In here. Okay, so we'll put in some shadowy sand from that cliff. Sienna for sand, just going in here. And now I want to put in a bit of dark in there, bit of green. Right, I'll strengthen this up in a minute, but what I want to do is to use the hake to go into these areas here with some foliage, and I want it quite strong, so Payne's grey, burnt sienna, lemon yellow, quite dry. So we'll just put in some of this around here. Oh, this is a horrible brush. Alright, get another one. Of the gang. Let's try this one. Right, so this one is much better, is it? I reckon there was a batch that were a bit misbehaving, and I've got all of them. I'll work a little bit wetter, I think. That should help it stay together. There's a lot of greenery on this. Lovely darks. Oh, just. Oh, just a little bit of texture here and there. I've overdone it, of course, as usual. But there wouldn't be much here. Just a little, just maybe clinging on to the rocks. Just using the corner of the hake for this. bit of dark in there. Try and leave it a bit open. Go away. Right. Excuse me. Have some fun with your painting. Like what I'm not at the moment. I'm overdoing this, I know. But I'm going to put in some of these shadows around these rocks to give them a bit of form. Quite happy with that background. That looks okay. When it's dry, I might just go over there and darken that bit with a bit of, or not, as the case may be. I'm quite liking that actually. I'll go in with some shadow on these rocks now. So nice warm shadows. I know they're ochre grey, but just some texture on them. Just Payne's grey, bit of blue. Try to show the 3 dimensions of all this. That would be reflected in there. Right, okay, just a bit of texture. Shadows cast. Right, a figure, maybe. Where did I see those rocks? There. Right, that's a little bit better. Justify some of that there. Right. I want to dry in there, just put a bit of dark over that there. Just showing the shadows from the actual cliff. Maybe there's enough in there, but we'll go over it. Just here. So just use a bit of blue and red. Right, no, this way, so I can just lift out a couple of tiny rocks in here. That looks like on there. Right, let's put a figure in. Do I want that one? I'll find another rigger. This number 3 rigger, that's better. So let's give a bit of scale to it. Where do I start there? Here, isn't it? Shadow there. Okay, just wearing a coat there. I'll give it a dry and just remove a bit of white for his face. Alright, this is the real problem when you move from one medium. I've been doing the acrylics for 3 weeks now, I think, and it does notice Well, the figure's about right size. I don't think it's much of a figure, but I'll put a bit of hair on him because that. Well, I'll let that go. I'll not quite happy with it, but since we haven't done one for all this time, I think. Make excuses now. I'll put in a little bird or two. All right. Oh dear. Right, blue mounts I think on that one. Where is the blue mount? Oh, there it is. Excuse me. Well, it's not too bad. The bits of it I like. This is nice and limpid and transparent. I don't know, see what you think about it. I'll bring you round and I'll zoom into it. Oh, it looks quite good on the screen.